Well, I think the idea of employee ownership is really intuitive. Like, we all think, oh yeah, employees should own the business. They should be part of the financial participation, the wealth of their firm. The idea of an ESOP can be, in particular, this one vehicle for employee ownership, can be a little bit confusing. So I kind of want to give you a background. I think the history of employee ownership and ESOPs particularly helps clarify what this form of employee ownership is. And the first one started in 1956 with Peninsula newspapers. A man named Louis Kelso invented the ESOP. And what he thought, his idea was that ownership now, capitalism has an issue, and it concentrates ownership. It's a concept that we're all familiar with, that capitalism has this problem. And his solution was that we need broader ownership. We need more capitalists. We need more people who are participating in capital ownership in this nation. So what his solution was, there was this newspaper, and the owner wanted to sell to employees, but employees don't have millions of dollars to buy out a company, especially in certain industries. It's very difficult to raise the capital. Banks often won't give individual employees the capital to buy a company out. So he created this structure by which the company could create a trust, and the trust could buy all the shares, which would be held on behalf of employees, and pay back the loan with pre-tax company profits. And they used actually a profit-sharing plan. That was all that was in place at the time. There were no ESOPs at the federal level at the time. So he used a profit-sharing plan to build this trust and get a loan on behalf of this trust, which held the shares for employees. And then as the company continued to succeed, continued to be profitable, they could pay it back, and eventually employees would own the entire company without having to put in a dime of their own money. So that's how this idea started, is with him. He had a boutique law firm, and he would set them up around the country. But he had a friend, Russell Long, who was a senator, and he was in the finance committee of the Senate, and he was known for his incredible knowledge of expertise in tax law, which we're all striving to understand. So, so he was at the time passing the Employee Retirement Income and Security Act, because before ERISA, which it's called before ERISA happened, companies would promise all these retirement benefits and then at the last minute just take them away. And there was no federal regulation for stopping them from doing that. So it was really important to have something that said, if you're going to promise all these, you don't have to give retirement benefits, but if you're going to promise all these benefits, you have to make sure you give them to employees. So Russell Long, Kelso got the ear of Russell Long, and they created this structure that Kelso had come up with and integrated into ERISA as another defined contribution retirement plan. So there's no necessary reason why employee ownership has to be a retirement plan, but historically, that's how it happened. So that's why employee ownership, that's why we often liken an employee-owned company to it's like a 401k plan, but it's employer stock, is because it got put through in that plan. But the larger issue is that it's financial participation for employees, helping them participate in the wealth that they're helping to create on a day-to-day basis with their labor. So that's kind of where we are now. ESOPs, because Kelso and Russell Long were able to do that, we have the most widely spread employee ownership in the US than in any other country. And I mean, there are countries that John Lewis Partnership in the UK you might be familiar with, or Mondragon in Spain, where they have cooperative or democratic models that have been very large, but those haven't scaled here. ESOPs have been the primary vehicle for employee ownership in the US. So that's kind of the employee ownership landscape, if you will.